Again, do we have any veterans here tonight? Let's give them a thank you for your service. I try to put myself in your position. If I were you and wanting to know about me, I think there's three questions that you would want to ask. Number one is who is this guy? What has he done, and what is he going to do? And tonight I want to try to answer those to you as succinctly as I can so that you can be informed, because I think we need an informed public when it comes to voting. I want you to know who I am, because you need to understand my worldview. You need to understand where I'm at on issues. You need to understand what drives me and motivates me. Then you need to understand what have I done? Am I capable? Am I competent? Am I able to represent you in the U.S. Congress? Am I able to represent the 4th District of Arkansas effectively there? And then I hope you would want to know if I've got a plan, because we need a plan. The way things are going up there right now, it sometimes makes you wonder if anybody has a plan. But I will tell you that my professional career is as an engineer, and engineers typically have plans, and I'll share with you a little bit about my plan before the night's over. So who am I? I'm Bruce Westerman. I was born and raised in Garland County. I'm actually a 5th generation Garland County and 4th District of Arkansas resident. My great-grandpa homesteaded the property where my grandma was actually born, in the house that her grandpa built. And my mom and dad still live close by on part of that property. I went to a public school there, Fountain Lake High School, Fountain Lake Elementary School. Went 1st grade through 12th grade. While I was in school, I was fortunate to get involved in an organization called the Future Farmers of America. I think they just call it the FFA now, but I met a lot of people from this part of the state through that organization. I was an all-state football player, and I graduated valedictorian in my high school class. Right after graduation, I was fortunate to be elected to the state president of the Future Farmers of America. I raised hogs when I was in school. I was talking to Jaden earlier, and he said he raises some goats for showing, but I know all about raising hogs and showing them in the fair and getting that premium sale, and how important that is, and how good a training that is for a young person to be involved with animals and be involved with farm work. So I was elected state president of the Future Farmers of America, and part of the responsibility of that was David Pryor was on the Agriculture Committee in the U.S. Senate, and he had a program where you could go and be an intern for him that summer. Actually, it was expected if you were elected state president, you would go work for Senator Pryor. So I went up to Washington, D.C. and worked for him for that summer in the mailroom. And it was a very enlightening and interesting experience. I had been to Washington, D.C. a couple of times before as through the FFA. But it was my first chance to actually live there a little while and understand it a little better. It was also interesting because I was and my family was diehard conservative Republicans at the time. In 1980, on my dad's 38th birthday, on December the 12th, we got a little puppy and named him Reagan. And that was the best pet we ever had. So here I was working in Senator Pryor's office, and I had a lot of fun with the other staff there that summer. I went to the University of Arkansas, and I studied biological and agricultural engineering, and also walked on and played football for 4 years for the Razorbacks, which was an interesting experience within itself. The most exciting thing that happened to me at the University of Arkansas is I met my wife Sharon from Van Buren, and we dated through college and got married right out of college, and we spent 22 years together, and we've got 4 children, ages 11, 13, 15, and 17. And they're not real excited about Dad being gone as much as I am out running for Congress for the 4th District, but they understand that our country is at a critical time. They understand that we need new leadership. They understand that we need conservative values, and they really get it, and they understand that their future is being threatened. I don't think they understand to the full extent, but they understand that the debt that we've got will be on their back to pay it someday. And I think young people are starting to get more involved and more plugged into what's going on, and they should feel a little bit cheated right now with the things that are being put on them for the future. So I finished up at the University of Arkansas. I took my first job as a plant engineer at Rosslyn Foods over in Stuttgart. And I lived there for almost 2 years, where I got acquainted with the Delta and enjoyed that experience, enjoyed my job there. But I had an opportunity to go back to Hot Springs and work for an engineering firm where I still work now. I've got 21 years of experience with that engineering firm. We do most of our work in the forest products industry, which is very important to this region here. So I was telling you earlier, I had traveled a lot in this area. Our company designs sawmills and plywood plants and OSB plants and chip mills and pellet mills and front ends of paper mills, and basically anything that takes a tree and makes a product out of it. That's what our company does, is designs those facilities. So it's given me an opportunity to see real economic development. You know, I hear politicians talk about what the government's going to do for economic development. Well, I've never really seen the government do a whole lot for economic development other than stymie it. The best thing the government can do for economic development is get out of the way and let the private sector function like the private sector can. People are innovative, they've got a lot of ingenuity, and they find ways to make things work and to be efficient, to be effective, to come up with new processes, and to really and truly grow our economy in the way that it needs to be grown. So my life has been shaped and molded by that, by my work experience. I had always had a dream to go to graduate school and get a master's degree. And since our company was so involved in the forest products industry, I took a leave of absence and I went to Yale University and got a master's degree in forestry. That was quite an experience within itself. I studied a lot of finance and economics, and I got exposed to a lot of liberals there. But I at least learned how to communicate with them and how to share my views, and don't worry, they didn't influence me and change my point of view on too many things. So I did that, and I went back to work at the same company. Was growing a family, lived out on a farm, built a house up there, was clearing land, raising a few cattle. Just enjoying life and not paying a whole lot of attention to politics. I was always kind of interested in it, but I wasn't as involved in it as I probably should have been. Until my kids got into school, there were some problems at the local school, and people came to me and said, why don't you run for the school board? And I said, I'm way too busy. I've got a job that I work 60 or 70 hours a week at. I've got this farm that I'm working on, and thanks for asking, but I'm really not interested. Well, they wouldn't let up, and I ended up running for the school board, and things kind of worked out well there. I'll share a little bit more about that with you later. So that's how I got back into politics, and with the term limits we have in Arkansas, when our local state representative was termed out, people came to me again and said, you should run for the state legislature. I said, I really can't do that, and they said, well, it's a part-time job. So I guess they talked me into it, but it wasn't that hard to talk me into it. And I got elected to the state legislature. Just went in and started working real hard, the way I've always tried to do everything. And I became the chairman of our policy committee in our caucus, and I came up with this plan that the other members of the caucus kind of liked. And the next thing you know, they elected me to be the chairman of the caucus, which you might know that better as the minority leader. And this last November, about a year ago, or over a year ago, the people of Arkansas elected the first Republican majority in the state House of Representatives and the state Senate since Reconstruction. So I got the honor of being the first Republican majority leader since Reconstruction. And it all started because I agreed to go run for the school board. So I really had no political plans or political aspirations, and I would tell you, this time last year, if somebody would have told me I was going to be in Drew County campaigning for Congress for the 4th District, I would have said, you've lost your mind. I said, we got Tom Cotton just elected. He's a great guy. He'll be serving in that seat for who knows how long. Well, how long was one term since he's decided to run for the U.S. Senate. And again, people came to me and said, you should run for Congress. And so that's what I'm doing. And it took a lot of prayer, a lot of discussions with my family, a lot of soul searching to determine that this was the right thing to do. But I know it's the right thing to do, and I know. Again, I feel like this is a duty that our country needs. Conservative, grounded principles. They need people that think like you and I think to be there and change this thing and turn it around. So that's kind of who I am in a nutshell. So what have I done? I mean, you might want to know, is this guy competent enough to go represent me in Congress? Well, when I went to engineering school, they taught us a lot of stuff that was pretty difficult. A lot of hard math, a lot of hard science classes I had to take. But the main thing they taught us was how to solve problems. And that's what I tell people, engineering is basically problem solving.